Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the EA Drainage District Number 1 Commissioners Meeting on this October 7th here at the Gonzales Courthouse. Agenda item number 1, looks like we have all our commissioners in place. Mr. Cullen is going to return, I believe, but he is present, so he is here. Agenda item number 3, the public comments. If there's anything that you would like to speak about on our agenda, there are green and red cards to my left. Go ahead and fill those out, and you will be allowed 3 minutes to speak on that agenda item. Agenda item number 4.
Chair, pledge, invocation.
Oh, you got me. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, jumped right over it.
That's okay, I got you.
Mr. Arsenault, can you hit me with the invocation and the pledge, please?
Hey, God, thank you for a great week so far. God, thank you for safe travel here, and we pray that you would be with us in this meeting, that we would make decisions and comments that would glorify you, Father. We pray that we would be representative of our constituents, and we pray that you would continue to bless our parish, our state, and our nation. In your name we pray.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you for that. Appreciate that catch. Agenda item number 4, a acceptance of the September 9th, 2025 drainage meeting minutes. Motion, Mr. Hillingsbeck, to accept. Second, Mr. Melanson. Do I have any objection? Do I have any questions? Hearing none, good to go. Agenda item number 5, Chairman's Report. I have 2 items tonight. We will be removing item 6B under General Business from this agenda. And also, as a courtesy to my commissioners, I will be reaching out to you, and I will ask that we have a special drainage meeting before our next council meeting on October 16th to reconvene about the new river pump station agreement. So a little quick, couple 10 minutes, if you don't mind. We'll try to do it right before the council. I will be reaching out to you guys, so I appreciate it. Agenda item 6A, approval of change order number 2 to the contract Kieran Co. LLC, adding an additional 47 days to the term of the contract, bringing the new substantial completion date 12/8/25. Motion, Mr. Collins, second. Mr. Melanson, any questions? Yes.
Just reason for the additional.
So we did add time at the previous meeting on the change order number 1.
Mm-hmm.
What that was considered working days, but also included in that, what we realized was weekends and other times. So it actually retrofitted back all the way to August before it started on the days that they asked for, and just wasn't enough days to cover the 53 days that they asked for. So they're adding back those. They thought it was straight through, and it wasn't.
Okay.
So all this is additional time to complete the change order that was approved at the previous meeting. And they're in the progress of doing that now. All materials are on site, and that change order is going as presented.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Any objection? Hearing none. Agenda item 6C, approval to enter into an intergovernmental collaborative research agreement between East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1 and Louisiana State University to collaborate on the development of AI and ML-based flood forecasting and modeling, and to authorize the parish president to sign any documents needed to enter the agreement. Motion, Mr. Vornado. Second, Mr. Melanson. Any questions? Any objection? Hearing none. Agenda item 6D, approval of renewal of professional service contracts for surveying and subsurface utility engineering services with the following firms: Earls & Associate LLC, Crescent Engineering and Mapping LLC, Quality Engineering and Surveying LLC, SJB Group LLC, and Schutz Surveying LLC. These renewals are for 1 year with a total amount not to exceed $150,000 to be shared with providers. Motion, Mr. Hillingsbeck, second, Mr. Vornado. Any question? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 6E, approval of amendment number 2 with Hartman Engineering for the Marvin Bro Levee Improvements Project to extend the contract term through November 8th, 2026. This amendment only extends the term and does not affect original contract price.
Motion, and I do
Motion, Mr. Malonso?
Yep.
Second, Mr. Hillingsbeck, and go ahead with your question, sir.
How we progressing so far here?
So, the reason for this amendment is the period of performance is about to be closing, with FEMA and OCD for this project. We're submitting 100% plan sets, at the end of this month. So that project, engineering-wise, which is phase one is where the award, was at, is just about complete and will be submitted less the environmental permitting. So that is the reason for the extension, is we feel like once we submit those 100% plans, OCD and FEMA are gonna come back with requests for information and follow-ups. And we still have that environmental process going on with the Corps, and we'll have some inquiries about that. So, we just anticipate that over the next year, trying to get phase two awarded, the construction piece. So to answer your question, phase one is pretty much complete and submitting, this month.
And so we expect that to kind of be like a 6 to 12 month deal with FEMA reviewing comments back and forth, getting those plans reviewed?
Yeah, I would love to see that happen in 6 months. We would hope so, but it's been a challenge, getting things turned around. But, you know, they're asking us to, put some hard dates on construction, which is a year or two from now. So we're hopeful that they'll turn around our project, like you say, in a timely manner.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? I had a motion and a second on that one. Any objections? All right, hearing none. Item number 6F, approval to enter into an intergovernmental agreement among Ascension Parish Government, East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1, and the City Parish of East Baton Rouge and Iberville Parish, and the City of St. George for the Bayou Manchac Restoration and Ward Creek Realignment Project. Motion, Hillingsbeck. Second, was that Arsenault? Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none. Item 6G, we'll have a report, I believe. Yeah, Marvin Bro Pump Station, pump number 3, clutch slip event report. Mr. Sabo.
Good evening, Commission, Chairman, thanks for the opportunity. So this is a very rewarding time to present this. I was in the same position in 2022, after the Marvin Bro pumping station had an incident there, with a fire, and some loss of some clutches, and thankfully no one was hurt. But, that was a failure in the pumping station, and, we want to present what we've done since then and kind of give you an overview where we are today. So with that, when that incident occurred, we lost 3 engines due to that incident. And we did a root cause analysis exercise on the backside of that. And in this photo, you'll see air compressors here. And the reason I'm showing that is once we looked at it, that was one of the main contributing factors of the failure. The entire pump station has a need for air pressure to engage your starters on your engines and also engage your clutches to start your pumping exercises. So there are 2 compressors that were in place there in this photo. One of them is electric, and it's all the time on, and it keeps the pressure built up at all times. If there's a failure, the backup compressor is a diesel driven compressor. However, you have to manually go swap from the primary to the diesel. That was a flaw. And secondly, a breaker was tripped there at that primary electric one. So we think that the compressor, due to a leak, was trying to continually build air, and it tripped that breaker, and nobody knew that that occurred because there was no alarm to tell them, hey, you need to go and put your other compressor in service. So that was one of the things that was highlighted. And as we said, this is your big air tanks that supply the air to all of those 7 pumps at Marvin Bro. During the time of the event, all engines use that air system and that main line for air to do those functions that I just mentioned. At the time of the incident, an operator noticed smoke coming from engine number 3, And when he went to try to assess what was going on, he's looking at smoke, not really understanding, I got an air problem. He didn't know. And in the meantime, while he's doing that, the operator down the floor starts seeing another engine smoke. It was chain reaction to losing air pressure. The loss of that air pressure let those clutches start slipping and spinning and burning. And inside the clutches, there's a rubber boot that the air inflates to lock in your gears. And that rubber is what ignited. But at the time, the operators just didn't know. So that resulted in a pretty hefty response. We thank our fire departments and recovery teams. You can see here the charred metal. That is your clutches that received the damage. So on the back side of that, presenting to this board at the time, you know, it was a very disappointing thing that we had to go through. We're just thankful no one had gotten injured in that event. But this board tasked us and the parish president to look into how we can do better at this facility and others in the parish. So with that, the investigation results and recommendation was phase one was the installation of electric valves and controls allowing isolation of each engine or pump assembly to be monitored from one common panel at the tenant's office and at each engine pump on the floor. Safety switches and solenoids to allow automatic shutdown of engines and pumps and fuel systems when problems occur. Additional electric air compressor with transfer switches to allow redundancy, safety in case of air compressor malfunction or loss of air pressure. Jade Robbins' group with maintenance and operations did a great job. That air compressor problem is now mitigated. There are 2 electric compressors online, and they cycle. Not one runs more than the other. And the diesel generators also, there's a backup. So we now have layers of redundancy in that effect. In addition to that, the parish president developed a task force, and here you'll see the core of the team for putting in protective measures. Right in the center of the page is Brian Martinez, our data analytics director. Ryan Wilsey is our SCADA specialist. His assistant is Dustin Smith, and the technical guru of it all is Dean Compton on reporting and data analytics, along with myself and Jade and the parish president. And with that, developing this department and investing in SCADA and data analytics and how can we put in protective measures was the goal. So first off, a huge accomplishment would be to convert Marvin Bro Pump Station from the old analog setups to bringing it to digital and more up-to-date times and technologies. Design and implement automation and safety controls. We try to do this in-house to where we can know our systems inside and out, and the data analytics and SCADA department were tasked to look into doing that. We anticipated having Marvin Bro fully automated by the end of 2025. The parish president pushed us hard to make sure and set our goals. We're well on the way to that, and we'll get into that in just a sec. But pumps 1, 3, and 2 are all automated now. So Jade actually was able to send out an email to the administration a few months back and say, look, this is the first event where I'm watching pump 1 run automated now on SCADA, and we have cameras and whatnot. So huge success there. Kudos to the team. And I'd like to bring up Mr. Ryan Wilsey here. And what I would like to do with that is let him tell you of a little bit of a success and return on investment in doing all of this. So Ryan, with that, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and.
So I'm just going to give you guys a brief overview of what we've done and what we've accomplished in the time period since we've started this project. So first off, I'm going to start off with this slide here. We're showing the difference in the 2 types of equipment that we have. On the left-hand side, you have our old analog equipment, and on the right side, you have our new digital equipment. The old gauges, they provided limited information. They required physical checks. The new digital sensors give us precise real-time data, alarms, trending, and we can integrate directly into SCADA. This has become the foundation for our modernization progress. These are the new control panels, as Ron was pointing to that was one of the goals, is to have a go-to point where they can be controlled from. We have these human-machine interfaces, which is also called an HMI. These consolidate our controls, our displays, and our engine status, alarm, sensor data. It's all in one place. Operators can see our entire system from this one place at a glance, which improves our safety, our speed, our response, and our efficiency. These are just some examples of our new sensors and telemetry. On the left, you got thermocouples. These are for multiple different types of temperature applications. On the right, we've got pressure sensors for fuel differential, oil differential, our clutch pressure, our air pressure, oil pressure, coolant pressures, intake air, and starting air pressure, and also pump station pressure. We also have a series of vibration sensors, which are also critical components to determining if we're having gearbox alignment issues, engine drive shaft issues, and such. All these devices feed directly into our SCADA system, and they create the comprehensive picture of the engine's health and its overall performance. This slide here is showing our manual controls to the digital controls. Here you can see there's a difference. The old manual air controls that are on the left-hand side and the new ones on the right-hand side. This upgrade allows us to be able to move from operator-dependent manual systems to reliable automated digital systems that reduce the risk for human error and ensure consistency. This here is a VT SCADA overview. This is the overview page of the Marvin Bro pump station. This allows us to be able to monitor all the pumps, engines, what's running, what gates are open, all from one unified display. This gives us some situational awareness that was never possible with our old system. This here is our pump control dashboard. From here, we can operate, monitor, control, respond to any condition. This is basically our central hub for interaction with the pump station. Just want to note that this is a remote functionality here. This is able to be used in the safe houses so they can operate remotely, but this same type screen is duplicated on our HMIs. As Ron said, well, the reason we're here is we had an event. We had a clutch slip event on September 17th. This was during a calibration testing of the system, and our system identified the clutch slip event. The automation logic responded immediately and began a controlled, initiated shutdown, which safely protected the asset before major damage could occur. This is a duplicate of the previous screen that you saw. This is just to highlight what our operators saw when this happened. It's to let them know where the situation happened. This is specific to engine number 3. When there is an alarm situation that initiates an engine emergency shutdown condition, they're going to get this little red brick in the middle. It's going to tell them, hey, you've got an issue. You've got an engine that's shutting down. And aside from that, you may have a square background on one of your gauges or behind the clutch status condition, as you see, and then lower below that, you have the engine clutch RPM deviation. These are tools that help point to where the situation went wrong. Where was the error? This is, when you click on that clutch button, this is what's going to bring you to the clutch telemetry data. It's going to tell you, hey, you had a clutch pressure issue. You also had an engine clutch RPM issue. And furthermore, this slide here identifies exactly which alarms initiated the shutdown. There was 2 key alarms in this situation. The first was a low air pressure alarm, which triggered the shutdown, and the second was a redundant engine deviation alarm. This is a layered approach. It ensures redundancy. If one condition is missed, the other will still protect the system. And what tells us that which one took it out is that FO. That FO is our first out protocol. It tells us, hey, you might have had multiple alarms, but the one that took the system out was this. 'Cause you may have even more than this in other environments. So once again, this helps to narrow down, zero in on where the issue was so we can get up running a whole lot faster and more efficiently. Just a little clutch slip graph just to illustrate what exactly happened. As you can see, in the orange line, the engine RPM held steady until we hit that 1,000 RPMs. And that's the point where the slip happened. And then you start to see that the RPMs fall away, the clutch starts to drop. This is where we saw that drop in air pressure, and we also saw that deviation in the RPMs between the clutch and the engine, and we shut down. This just overall validates the shutdown logic worked as it was designed. I also want to emphasize one other thing that, as Ron said, we had this situation transfer over to three different engines. We're not going to do that again. If we have an issue, we're going to isolate it. So when we get this low pressure alarm, when we get a starting air pressure alarm, we get an RPM deviation, we're going to close off a solenoid valve, and we're going to isolate that engine. That engine is isolated. It will not affect the rest of the pump station. This is the faulty part. It was due to a worn gasket unfitting. This part was inside the gearbox. It supplies the clutch air pressure through the drive shaft. Because of our monitoring and our telemetry, we were able to pinpoint the exact failure quickly. We saved valuable troubleshooting time. And finally, we avoided a catastrophe. This is our success story. The system worked exactly as it was intended. We prevented a catastrophic failure, fire, or costly damage. It validated the investment we've made in our modernization, and it proved that our SCADA in-house team has upgraded and protected parish assets and public safety. And finally, I'd like to say, this wasn't a failure. This was a major win for Ascension Parish. And that's it.
That's all good.
Any questions?
Chair, if I may?
Mr. President?
Yeah, so I can't begin to tell you how proud I am of this team and what they've accomplished. When we first brought Brian on and under Brian's leadership, it was just about the string gauges and the rain gauges, and that was the start of, building our the ability to see where flooding's occurring in the parish for us to have our crews respond, right? And then we kind of started with that. And as this team has grown very rapidly and been allowed to really push out their expertise, the ability for our in-house guys to go and take an analog station such as Marvin Bro and turn it digital is not only cost savings by the hundreds of thousands, but also for them to be able to know exactly what they installed, what they put in, where the points of failure are. And again, this is, when we all go back to the time of the fire and that occurred, and all of us scratching our head and everybody scrambling around to try to figure out what happened, for this team to be able to pinpoint exactly a failure such as this speaks magnitudes of where we're going with our SCADA group and our GIS and our modeling and everything else. So when you pull back at the 30,000-foot view and you look at what you approved today with our contract with LSU and AI and the ability to do flood forecasting, to be able to tell from rain and elevations where we anticipate rise, not respond to rise, but anticipate rise. And I think we're building the model for the state.
again, Ascension Parish leading the way. But I believe this expands on our experiment with LSU, that this is tied in throughout the state, throughout all the monitoring, USGS stations, the parish stations, and building a true forecasting model for the entire state. We're going to start right here in Ascension Parish with what we got. And it can't be possible without these guys. And the station is just one part, right? Sorrento's already under SCADA. We start those machines from a computer in an office. Jade was able to start his engine a few months ago, one of Marvin Bro's #1 engine from his office. And so that time, you know, again, we still have human presence there, just in case. We still have them there 7 days a week during the day, and we have night crews come on when needed. But the time for a call-out, person got to go and clock in at the barn. Then they got to go run out to the station. Then they got to warm up the engine. Then they got, once that's up, then they start the engine, and they start the process of pumping and closing all the gates. All that procedure can be done immediately when the call is made, and saving critical time in preparation for pump downs and starting the activation of a pump station. So from a 30,000-foot view, I'm super excited where we are, and I'm super excited about where we're headed. And I'll be excited to be able to show you all that progress over the coming years, because I think it's really going to be impressive. And hopefully, like with the AI, I believe that's going to be the model for the state. And we're going to have it first, hopefully. That's the goal, anyway, as the AI gets developed. So can't say enough about the team and their accomplishments, just great all around, and it is a team effort. They're all working together, from Jay with operations and his crews at the pump station, and Ron and Ryan and his crew, and Brian overall from the GIS standpoint and the SCADA, and tying in the rain gauges and the stream with the pump station, so we can know exactly when we turn on how many pumps, say 3 pumps, we can anticipate the rate of fall in Goudin, that far away, how long it's going to take, and that modeling for what it does. And as we improve that system with a New River pump station pumped to the Mississippi River, splitting Marvin Bro in half, the Sorrento surge protection of putting the pump station on Conway, and tying those 2 basins together, and being able to transfer that water from Bluff Swamp and Spanish Lake into the Marvin Bro Basin when needed, and sealing off Fish and Frog Bayou. And Henderson on those future improvements with a safe house there so our crews can be safe during hurricanes. Just the overall program is really impressive, and I can't tell you how proud of every one of these people here, and the ones that are not here, because there's several that are not here. Just a tremendous job. So that's it. Thanks.
No problem. Mr. Malonson.
No, I'll be much shorter than Mr. President over there, but no, just great job. I know it's been almost 3 years, but I think it was New Year's Eve, right? In 22? Yeah, it was New Year's Eve in 2022, and man, I think that final dollar amount, I mean, we were over $600,000-700,000 worth of damage, you know, and this event right here last month, I'm assuming we saved another $200,000, right? So very, very impressive. I mean, that looks like you walked into a chemical facility, like, and that was our vision, right? We should have the exact same equipment that they have protecting our $1 billion pumping station right there on Marvin Bro. So thank you all very much. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to see all 7 of them look just like that. So thank you.
Mr. Arsenault.
Yeah, so from failure to fire, what would the time have been if we didn't have that alert?
Well, I guess, Ron, maybe you could possibly, or Jade,
Just curious.
respond to what that previously response was during that time. But I can attest to what it was this time, and that we've actually tightened it up. We learned from this issue, and we've actually narrowed down to almost a 2-second time period that we can respond to this now.
It's hard to know the time frame,
Yeah,
because we didn't
it
have
just-
the analytics, right?
Right.
If we had had what we have in place today, we could have told you down to the minute how it occurred and when it happened. And that's the ability of what we got today, is that we can answer those type of questions. We couldn't answer that before. You had a guy respond because he smelled smoke.
Right.
And then he starts going around a corner and the engine's on fire. and then another one, and then another one. So, and having to go ahead and diagnose that was a tremendous, and having Delcon come out and start breaking down these engines to figure out what happened, what went wrong. Whereas now, Ryan can pull it up and tell you and pinpoint it within minutes, seconds, and it respond in seconds. It respond in seconds, but him being able to diagnose it very quickly.
So I do have one question, and it's, not to drag it, but obviously automatic shutdowns, whatever, we will avoid the fire, right? The source of the fire. With our upgraded systems and our controllers, do we have to, if, God forbid, we get another fire, the suppression system or what we use for suppression, can a firefighter still use water, or do we have to use like a dry chemical or whatever so we don't damage all of these sensors and new electronics?
All of them are IP rated, so
Okay.
you're
Yeah,
not gonna damage them.
I figured that was your answer, but I wanted to make sure that was in consideration. If God
Yes, sir.
forbid we do have a fire, we have to fight it. We
Yes,
don't want
sir.
to damage more than we do with water damage or whatever that may be, so.
Yeah,
okay.
all of the equipment we used was IP rated, including even our conduit. We didn't just run EMT, we ran hard drawn pipe, it's all liquid tight. So
Great.
if we lose a roof, we can rain on it an entire storm, and we should be able to survive it.
Wonderful. I appreciate it. Does anyone have anything else? Nothing? Mr. Cullen?
No, it was great, very good. People know I don't like presentations, but this one held my interest.
Like it.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to adjourn for Mr. Cullen. I have a second for Mr. Hillingsbeck. We are adjourned.